He's got a reputation as a tough negotiator, as supervising attorney at the public defender's office. Bob Galhotra is part of a big field of candidates in Austin, and all are trying to remove longtime West Side Politico Deborah Graham in the 29th Ward. I'm Mike Fouché, and this is Aldertrack's Meet a Chicago Candidate series. So tell me, Bob, what drove you to run for alderman?
Mike, I got involved in politics last year, basically, when I ran for state senate. I ran in the 39th Legislative District, and when I did that, which encompasses most of the 29th Ward, obviously going door to door, I learned a lot from the voters. And what I learned was they were very, very upset about not only the remap, but the level of services and the kind of leadership they were not seeing from Deborah Graham. So that motivated me to run for 29th Ward alderman.
So do you consider yourself an Emmanuel Garcia Fioretti or Willie Wilson supporter?
Well, I have not attached myself to any of those candidates, but I think they all have something very nice to offer. They all have their own pluses and minuses, and I'm looking forward to the debates. But no, I haven't hooked my wagon onto any train at this point.
Okay.
Or however the phrase goes.
Sure. So most sitting aldermen spend most of their time with ward maintenance issues, which you've said is a big problem in the ward. But if you had a citywide policy issue, what would it be?
Well, the schools obviously is a big issue. Red light cameras, speed cameras, TIF funds for sure. Unemployment, especially in the 29th Ward. Unemployment is very high, and economic development.
What are some of the changes that you'd make with the Chicago Public Schools?
Well, I'm in favor of a moratorium on charter schools. I'm in favor of the voters deciding whether or not we should have an elected school board. So those are two things with respect to schools. People pay their taxes, and they deserve to be able to send their children to the neighborhood school. And if they have the affluence or if they have the preference, they should be able to send their children to a parochial school or a private school. But it shouldn't be a situation where you don't think that your local school is good enough for your child, and therefore you have to dig into your pocket and send them to a private school. That really shouldn't be the case.
So you told the Chicago Tribune that one of your biggest focuses as alderman would be improving city services. But how would you do that if the city's broke? What are you going to get to improve the services?
It's a matter of priorities. It's, there is money. It's where do you want to spend it? And I think that's probably the key, is prioritizing certain city services. When it comes to things like potholes and tree trimming and, even getting a garbage container, there has to be money in the budget for things like that. Those are not things that can be foregone. And we need to come up with creative ideas and other revenue streams in order to fund those things. But it is just unacceptable to not only have no communication about some of the city services, but also to wait 2 years to have trees trimmed from a parkway where the branches are actually touching upon the roof of a house. I mean, that's unacceptable, and it shouldn't take that long.
Thank you, Bob, for joining us.
That was 7 minutes.
That was 7 minutes.
You got to be kidding me. Wow.
You can learn more about the Bob Galhotra campaign and almost 200 others by subscribing to our email newsletter at aldertrack.com, by listening to this series on Rivet Radio, or by subscribing to Aldertrack on YouTube. More great stuff to come.